Hi everyone, welcome to part 3 of the series of video that I am creating on this concept of separation of concerns to help you with your German driving license practical exam. If you have not yet watched part 1 and part 2 of separation of concerns, I suggest you watch them to get a continuation. So in this video, we shall look at two areas. One is city limits and second, multiple lane scenarios in cities. We shall look at multiple lane scenarios at Autobahn in a different video. So let's get started. Most of your examination will be through city limits, will be through city roads, and you know the speed limit in city roads, even if not explicitly mentioned, is 50 km/h. Most of them are priority roads, but this doesn't really matter because most of the city roads will be governed by traffic signals. So let's look at different scenarios and the corresponding concerns. What are the first concern that would appear in your city roads? The first concern, of course, being traffic signals. So be aware or be prepared for the signals to change and accordingly take your actions. The second concern is, of course, speed limits. There will be certain roads, certain areas where you will have further speed restrictions, mostly limiting to 30 km/h, and be aware of these signals on the road. There will be further traffic signs. As you can see here you are at a junction where only going straight or right is allowed. There is no left turn allowed. Or you could have other signs like there is no going forward allowed, there is only right turn allowed. And so be aware of these kind of traffic signs. Mostly you will see this at traffic signals or intersections. The fourth concern is, of course, to choose the correct lane. So depending on where you want to continue, you must choose the right lane. Okay, let's move on and look at some of the multi-lane scenarios. Okay, so here this is an example of a city road where you have multi-lanes going in either direction. So what are the first concern? The first concern is hard lines on the road. You see here, these are hard lines, okay, and these are dotted lines, if I can say so. Here, changing lanes, of course, is not allowed if you see a hard line. So, of course, be aware of this concern on the road when you decide to change line. For example, if you want to take right in the next junction, be sure that a changing lane is allowed, and in this case the yellow car cannot change the lane until it finds a dotted line. In this case the blue car, of course, can change the lane, but be aware of the next concern, which is other cars. Okay, of course you need to look for other cars in the other lane before you decide to change lane. I hope that was clear. What's the third concern? The third concern is that at times you will also see cycle path on the road. So in certain big junctions, you will see that cycle path is right on the road, and hence be aware or be concerned of the cyclist on the road before you decide to change your lane. And the fourth concern is, of course, choose the correct lane. So in this case, if you want to take right, for example, if this green car wants to take right, the green car should change the lane right at this point when it is dotted lines, making sure that the cyclists are not endangered, and of course other cars are also not endangered. So choosing the correct lane is also a concern in these multi-lane scenarios. Now let's extend it further. Consider a scenario where you do have multiple lanes and both lanes turning at the same direction. So if you see, the rightmost lanes are both turning towards right, and there is an additional concern that you need to be aware of in such a scenario, and which is to stay in your lane. So in this case, as an example, blue car and green car wants to turn right, and what is important to note is that the blue should stay in its lane and the green should stay in its own lane. Okay, I hope this was clear.
And that's all with this video. See you in the next one. Stay subscribed for more such videos.